ever just fall into those Amazon rabbit holes?
Yeah.
You know, like you're just clicking around for something and like 3 clicks later, you're like, how did I even get here?
Yeah.
That's what happened to me with this Paper Cars 3 Big Trucks book.
Okay.
And it's like, at first glance, you're like, oh, it's a kid's craft book, whatever.
Yeah.
But then when you really start digging into it, like the Amazon page and like what this thing's all about,
Yeah.
it's actually fascinating. Like there's so much to uncover here.
Interesting.
So I'm really glad we're doing a deep dive on this because I think there are going to be some things that people find really, really fascinating.
I'm excited.
So like when I was just looking at this, I was thinking, okay, Paper Cars 3. Like, I'm not even a paper airplane novice. I feel like everybody's made a paper airplane, but
Sure.
Paper Cars 3, this is part 3. This is a trilogy.
At least. Yeah.
So clearly they've made 2 other books at least.
Wow.
So somebody's got some serious dedication to this paper craft.
Right.
And then you keep reading and you're like, oh, and it's independently published.
Yeah.
And I always think it's really brave and kind of gutsy when I see that.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're really putting themselves out there.
Yeah. You're on your own.
Yeah, totally on your own. And then it's like, what kind of person does this?
Right.
And then I saw the author's name and it just like made it all click.
Oh, really?
Mike Jr.
Okay.
Like it sounds like a name that's been passed down.
Like a family business.
Yes. Like Mike Jr. It's like, oh, your dad was Mike Sr.
Uh-huh.
He made paper airplanes and now you're Mike Jr. You make paper cars.
In the jeans.
It's gotta be, right?
Yeah.
Like that's fascinating to me. But there's something else I found really interesting. And this was like, you know how you can get lost in those Amazon reviews and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
There are none.
Yeah.
No reviews yet. And this was published in June of 2023.
Oh, so this is a new product.
Brand new. And it's like we're catching it right as it's coming out.
Right. That's really interesting because it really is like we're seeing the beginning
Yeah.
of something potentially really cool.
Totally. And
Yeah.
we're going to be able to see, is it successful?
Right.
Is it not?
Right.
What happens to Mike Jr.?
Exactly. And you know what else I find really interesting about that is it just shows you that like anybody can do this.
Yeah.
Like he's just one guy
Mike Jr. is just putting himself out there.
out there. And yeah. And he's like, I'm going to make this happen.
Yeah.
And this is how he's doing it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's exciting.
It's exciting.
I
Yeah.
love that.
You don't have to be like, you know, some big company.
Yeah.
You could just be Mike Jr.
Even that.
and make paper trucks.
Independently published.
Yeah.
It's great.
Love it.
Amazing. I love it. You know, one thing that I thought was interesting on the Amazon page,
Hmm.
remember how it said easy to store?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like right on the cover?
You're right.
Like most craft books aren't like, hey, by the way,
You can put this away.
you can put this away easily.
Right. And I thought that was so smart
You're totally right.
because who is this for?
It's for the parents.
It's for the parents. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids don't care.
They don't care at all.
Like, it could be a complete disaster.
In fact, they prefer it that way, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But parents are the ones buying it,
100%.
and parents are the ones that are like tripping over this stuff
I know.
at night.
Yeah.
So smart.
So smart. Like, how often do you see storage as like a selling point for something?
Right.
Almost never.
Like it should be.
Especially,
That's right.
especially kids stuff.
Yeah.
Like kids' toys are like the worst for that.
The worst. Oh my gosh. Legos are the worst.
Like why?
The bane of my existence.
And it's funny because they mentioned this other thing too about the trucks. It said they were nested. And
Yeah.
I was like, what does that even mean? And then I saw a picture of it.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
the trucks fit inside of each other,
Yeah.
which again, like easy storage.
So smart.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like an added bonus.
It's like a toy within a toy.
It is. It's like those Russian nesting dolls.
Exactly.
But for trucks,
It's brilliant.
it's kind of brilliant.
Mike Jr. is like killing it here.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, where did this guy come from?
I know. And I was like looking at some other stuff that he's done
Hold
because
on.
in the back of the book, it mentions all these other books.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's got a whole series of these,
That's awesome.
all independently published.
Good for him.
Like paper airplanes, like all this stuff. And I was like, okay, Mike Jr.'s got this whole paper thing.
That's his thing.
Yeah, like this is his jam.
I love that.
And one of them really stood out to me.
Oh, really?
So it's called Paper Houses. Let's Help Ukraine.
Wow.
And I was like, what?
That's amazing.
And 50% of the proceeds are donated
Right.
to help Ukraine.
That's incredible.
I know. And it's like he found a way to like,
Make a difference.
yeah, and also be successful,
That's great.
you know?
Yeah, I love that.
It's really cool how he's doing that.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Like you wouldn't think just looking at this like kid's craft book
Right.
that there'd be all these other layers
No.
to it, like the business side of it
Yeah,
and the like charitable side of it.
absolutely. And also, like, how much thought
Yeah,
went into it.
totally.
Like, he really put a lot of effort into making a quality product.
It makes me wonder, like, what his process is.
Yeah.
Like, does he start with, like, okay, there's this need for, like, I don't know, some sort of donation.
Right, like a cause.
Yeah, and then he's like, how can I make a product that will,
Like,
you know,
"Muchas
funnel
importas."
money to that? Or does he start with, like, I have this idea for this product, and then he's like, oh, and also we can, make it about this too.
Right.
I don't know.
It's hard to say.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, I would love to pick his brain,
Me too.
just about his process.
Yeah, like, are you Mike Jr. or are you Mike Sr.'s kid,
Right, right.
Like, what's the deal?
Exactly.
What's the family business here? Anyway, I don't know. It's just so cool.
Yeah, this has been really fascinating.
I think it just goes to show that you should never judge a book by its cover.
100%.
And also, you never know, like, what's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I never in a million years would have thought that,
Yeah.
like, a deep dive on a paper truck book would be this.
It just goes to show you.
Interesting.
You really never know.
You never know.
And I love that.
Yeah, me too.
This is why we do this.
This is why we do it,
Yeah.
folks. So next time you see something that looks
Totally.
maybe a little bit mundane,
Yeah.
just think maybe there's a deep dive in there.
Absolutely. There's a story.
A story waiting to be told. All right, until next time, stay
Yeah.
curious.